two massive preliminary final matchups, including potential game of the year tomorrow night being Friday, Liam, as we prepare for what could be a very, very good two matches in the lead up to the Toyota Grand Final for 2021 at Optus.
Yeah, for sure. Well, also, we want to see a grand final this weekend, and I think it's probably going to be tomorrow night, Melbourne Geelong. For me, that was probably the grand final I would have had, but obviously, it also won't be. So, I think tomorrow you'd think that the winner tomorrow will be the favourite in the grand final, but yeah, the top four, what should have been the top four, but we're trying to the top four all year, so no surprise that these are the final four teams going into it. And on that note, let's head into the first game. There's obviously Melbourne and Geelong from Optus Stadium, and the teams came in about an hour or so. So, any big outs or?
For the D's, Michael Hibberd returns, while James Jordan is supposedly the medical sub, and Joel Smith is out injured. Still no Nathan Jones, which we'll come back to in a minute. For the Cats, Brandon Parfitt is out injured. And other than that, that's it.
Very solid. On the Nathan Jones thing, if they get up and they make the grand final, does he play in your eyes? Does he get a game?
Give me your view first while I get up his stats.
I'd love to. First of all, I'd love to see Nathan Jones in the fight, but in my opinion, there's nobody in that team that they can drop from their preliminary final side if they're successful. Because I'm saying that the 22 they have now is it's premiership team in my eyes. So it's just kind of question, who do they drop? Because they've kept the same team for ages now. They've only dropped out one or two, like that's the likes of Bowie, and you probably think that he'd be the bloke to drop, but it'd be kind of stiff, to drop him, Nathan Jones. But yeah, I'd love to see it, but again, I can't see him squeezing into the 22, even as the Medi sub.
He played the first 7 games of the season, and hasn't played since.
Yeah, they'll get him into 300, I believe, and then
match fitness, is it there?
That's the question.
Probably not.
Yeah, I'd presume not.
After everything he's been through, committing to your club, staying with them through their 3-win seasons on about 4 seasons in a row.
The amount of times he could have left.
He is a cult hero at Melbourne.
He's been the backbone of the club.
But
it'd be disappointing.
Then you see the flip side with his stats, and he only averaged the 13 disposals and 1 clearance and 1 tackle. Is he going to be that valuable? Mentally, yes. Mentally, he's going to be the guy.
Yeah.
On the field, on grand final day, I don't know. I would love to see him. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if we're talking logistically, I don't think he can come back in.
Yeah. It's just,
and as you said, who do you drop?
Yeah.
There's no one to drop.
Yeah, legit. They've even Chuck Mr. Medis up. I don't see him, just scraping their way in. It's just, it'll be disappointing. But again, it's, it's all about coming to the end. The D's want the flag. Because if they also want the flag, they'd have to unfortunately keep him out in my eyes.
Yeah,
but
I tend to agree.
Yeah, whether it's all about Nathan Jones or not. But there's another question too, is that does he stick around then for another year if he doesn't make the grand final? Does he come back next year and then somehow sneak into the side and then have a somewhat a better season and then try and get another grand final victory? Or do you think this year it's done and dusted?
He'll be 34 at the start of next season, by the time the season commences. He's obviously out of contract at the end of this year, unrestricted. Yeah. I don't know. That's a really good. I don't think he fits into the side.
Yeah,
which
I don't
is
think he would.
a tough pill to swallow as a football fan, not even a
Yeah.
Melbourne fan, just a football fan.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. I can tend to agree. I can't see anything happening, Yeah, he's been there for what, over a decade. He's been there through the shit days. But now when it comes to success, there's all these young blokes that, are logistically better than him now. So you can't really drop any of them. So, as much as the whole football community will have to see, Nathan Jones step out on grand final day, be the cult hero, but I think that's just not going to happen. I think he's going to, miss out on, unfortunately, a bit of success.
So let's get back onto game topic. What do the D's need to do against the Cats? We saw back in round 23 for the D's to book their first minor premiership since their last premiership year.
Yeah.
What do they need to do? Can they try and get the same formula they found last time? Will that work?
Thing is probably not to find themselves down 7 goals, because also that wasn't ideal. But we all know that Geelong, they're one of the strongest sides in the comp. They have probably the top 5 best players are the best in the comp. So, the teams, they can't go into this game with any, we're gonna win. They're gonna have to come in with that attitude that, it's gonna be a hell of a game. They can't go in and be like, oh, it's Geelong. They're old, not gonna do anything. They just need to run it back what they've been doing recently. We saw against Brisbane how successful that was. They, blew them out by 5 goals. So I think they just need to run it back, do what they did in the qualifying, what they did in round 23. So, yeah, I think that's what they have to do.
Here's my little game tactic, which they've been brilliant with all year. Yeah. Get the ball to ground in your forward half. Sorry, get the ball to ground.
Yeah.
Please tell me, other than Jack Henry and Jack Hughes, what smalls Geelong have in their backline?
Not many. Generally, not many. They have also Henderson. They have
With Calves, Kolajasny, Tui.
Yeah.
They're not small.
Yeah, they're all
Melbourne, on the other hand,
they're small forwards.
Their lineup on AFL has Tom McDonald and Ben Brown, right? So that'll be probably Henderson and either Kolajasny or Blitz Calves.
Yeah,
those two.
Yeah.
And then what? They have Fridge, who's he's not small, but he's not tall. He's a medium-sized forward. They have Viney. Viney's medium-ish again. Spargo's fairly small. Neil Bullen's fairly small. And they have the likes of Pickett on the bench, who's small. They just have to get it to ground. They're electric when they do, and they did that well against Brisbane, because Brisbane are a fairly tall defense as well.
Get to ground, let the Commas do the rest of the work. Just force a contest.
That's exactly what they did, and it worked.
Yeah,
and I think that's what they did last time against Geelong too. I can remember just time after time, just their key forwards just leading out and basically tapping it down like a ruck work. To the small forwards.
Yeah.
As for the Cats, now there's got to be a dent in their minds after that comeback loss that they had, where they were up, as you said, 40 odd, and then choked. There's got to be that mental game playing with them, but I don't know. Geelong are experienced. They've been there. They've done it before.
They've been there.
Yes, they may not get over the prelim final hump that they should have many, many occasions in recent years.
Yeah.
But they are a quality football side, and we can't write them off.
Yeah, you can't.
But what do they need to do?
It's just trying to limit, we know Melbourne are one of the strongest defenders in the comp. They have May, Lever, Salem, who have they got here? Bowie. All, Lever and May are all Australian defenders. So, it's trying to limit, Melbourne's run in the back half, because that if they don't force a contest, Melbourne is going to clear it out, and then they're off. So Hawkins and Cameron, they're going to have to work together pretty well. Obviously the two big
do
forwards.
well on May and Lever as well.
Exactly. So And even got the of like Myers down there. He can get crafty when he's on. So yeah, they've got like Menegola, they've Radigalea too.
They went really tall, didn't they, in their forward line? Hawkins,
Yeah.
Cameron, Rowan, Radagalier.
Menegola, he's not short himself.
Myers
like
is
midi,
short, but
yeah, mine's a small forward,
Menegola's average height, like probably a
Yeah.
Bailey Fritsch type. But
yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me how tall they went. Because
Yeah.
Melbourne have, like, would you call? No, not really.
Mm.
2, maybe 3, if you want to be technical, defenders down there. And
Yeah.
they went with 4, half 5.
Yeah.
They're not going to outrun Melbourne.
No way.
No, just doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. But yeah, that's the way it goes. If it ain't broke, don't
And
fix it.
yeah, for Geelong, Paddy Dangerfield first one needs to show up again. This game
Yeah.
is a huge battle of the midfield.
Him and
you've
Selwood.
got
Yep.
Selwood and Oliver. We've got here Dangerfield on Brayshaw. Petrarca on Guthrie. Langdon and Smith on the wing. Great runners. So it's going to be a huge battle. They've got that huge battle in the midfield. Gawn and Stanley. You'd think Gawn will get the upper end of that, but it's big. There's going to be key matchups everywhere. We've got Kimmo down back, up forward, in the mid. It's going to be very even teams. So it's a flip of the coin for this one.
I 100% agree.
You couldn't predict this game probably if you wanted.
No, I don't think you could. Now you're going to, because I want you to give me a first goal scorer, a winner, a margin, and let's go with a different one. Let's go most disposals on the ground.
I'm gonna say it, but I'm gonna go the D's will get up. I'm gonna say that they'll kick away late. They'll kick about 1, 2, or 3 very late, and they'll get up by about 2, 3 goals. The first goal scorer on the ground, it will be. I'm gonna hate to say it, but it's gonna be Tom Hawkins down the other end. He'll get Geelong off to a flyer. And most disposals will go to my Brownlow medalist now, Sir Oliver, Clayton Oliver. He will get easily 30 plus, and he does every single week.
Your Brownlow medalist, you reckon?
He's taken over the bont for me.
It's only home and away.
He's edged it. Nah, I still reckon he's edged him. He's edged him.
All right, fair call.
Stay
tuned for a video on that next week too, by the way. Brownlow medal predictions. Obviously, it's the bye weekend. Lots of big things planned over the next couple weeks, and particularly the off season as well. Now, I'm going to go first goal scorer first of all. I'll go with, and I'm going to go. Not going to say Ben Brown. I'm going to say Mr. Consistent with Bailey Fritsch. Will kick the first. He's been their leading goal kicker this year. Been a bit of a breakout season almost. Maybe not breakout. He's not young, but he's
had a solid season, for sure.
He's had a very, very solid season. He's kicked, if I grab it up, he's played 22 games and he averages 2.5 goals a game with a total of 51. Winner.
It's almost impossible.
It's not easy. I'm going to say the D's will win.
Yeah.
I can't give you an exact margin. I'll go within 15 points. The D's will get up by, because Geelong are very good in the West. Can't keep forgetting that. The D's probably not so much. We know what happened the last time the D's played at Optus in a prelim.
Yeah.
I got to go the D's by about around that 15-point mark. As I said, Fritsch for my first goal. And disposals, go an odd one with Christian Salem. We get the most disposals on the ground if the D's are to get up.
Yeah, very solid. It's going to be, I reckon, one of the best games we've seen all year. Maybe not top the Lions and Dog we saw last week, but we move on to the next one. It is the Power taking on the Western Bulldogs over from Adelaide Oval. We'll get started with the teams. I heard there's a couple of big outs, a couple of big ins for this one. So, what are they?
Just on a little side note, Dan Houston will play his 100th game. Didn't realize he's played 100, but there you go.
Another good one.
And on the Port side, Pau Pepper has been omitted from the side. Even after coming on and kicking a goal and having 7 touches in about 5 minutes or something, wasn't it, last game?
Yes, crazy.
For the Dogs, though, these are three technically big changes.
Big.
Cody Waitman has been a bit of an excitement machine the last couple of weeks. He's obviously had a lot of attention drawn to him, particularly after the Essendon game, but he has been a ripper player to watch. Lewis Young has been omitted, and
no surprise.
Alex Keith failed to get up and will be injured for the game, meaning that coming in is Stephen Martin, finally returning back to the side.
That's big.
And Zane Cordy, which was a bit of a surprise for me. I
probably to feel that
didn't expect him to come in.
Nogel Hagen. I'm surprised for that one with Waitman going out the side. I thought they might have brought him in, but
I could have said. I think it's just a bit of inexperience for him, though. He's only played 5 or so games, a handful of games. But Zane Cordy's going to have to deal with what I would guess is Todd Marshall. Not an easy task when Todd Marshall is on his game. He's a very solid young bloke. This will be a ripping contest as well, I reckon. I think Port, when they're on and they have momentum, are probably the hardest team to stop. Not the best team, but the hardest team to stop. Especially at home.
Sure. But the Dogs on their day too. You don't want to ride them either.
I agree. Obviously, Bont got up in his test, so he will play. Very big. Very big. Port's small forwards are elite. Amon, Gray, Butters, Rosie, Fantasia off the bench, Motlop sometimes. Are the Dogs' defense good enough? In my opinion, honestly, yes. I think they can be. Easton Wood, the experienced campaigner, Caleb Daniel, Bailey Dale, Bailey Williams, obviously Ryan Gardner will take Charlie Dixon. On the bench, they have, JJ, Taylor Duray plays defense. Taylor Duray played a ripping game last weekend. Very, very underrated. Look, it's going to be a good game, I think.
Easily.
I'm just as excited for this game as I am for tomorrow night.
Yeah, for sure. As we said, it's going to be, the Dogs back are good enough, but up forward for the Dogs again, they've got Norton, English, but you then got to talk about Port's defense too. They've got, Alaire, they've got Tommy Jonas, Ben Jones, Burton, very solid back line, one of the best in the comp. So, Norton, he needs to be on his game. Tim English needs to clunk some. Shaki had a bit of a week last week. So if Bailey Smith can get up and do what he did last week, 3 goals, 30 touches, it's going to be hard to beat. It's going to be a ripping contest. So, yeah.
I think this game... There's 2 ways the game could go, and it's honestly hard to see either way happening, but I think it's the only 2 ways. And it's the Dogs winning by within the 20-point margin, so a reasonably close game. Or Port blowing it out like they did against Geelong. And
I don't see a blowout. I don't see that.
I don't think I do either. But that's the problem. Can Port win a close game? They lost the prelim last year, which was a very, very close one.
They tend to struggle. They tend to struggle in the clutch moment in the late minutes.
But last time they met, think about it. The Port came back from 20 points down to come back and beat the Dogs. I'll get you to go first. What's your tip, goal scorer, disposals, and margin?
First goal scorer, I will go with Mr. Orazio Fantasia. He'll hit the scoreboard first.
Very fair bet.
Winner, I'm going to say Port at home. They're going to restrict it from being a close one. I'm going to say anywhere between that, anywhere between 0 to 25. I'll say anywhere between that range. And somewhere in there. And most touches on the ground in a losing effort will be Jack McRae. He will do it again. He'll get weather poisoning. He'll be sent to hospital after the game, but unfortunately, he won't get the Dogs up. I think power will be too strong on their home deck in front of not many Dog supporters, you'd think. So
It'll be 25 though, only 25,000. It was, I think, at 50% capacity, which is around about the 25 or 26 mark. I think it is exactly. But yeah, you would suggest if it was 26 that probably 25,500 of those would be Port. I'm going to tend to agree. I'm going to think Port are going to get up by probably about 2 goals, probably two to 3 goals. I'll go with the Dogs to kick the first through. Let's go Bailey Smith. Let's throw it out there. Most disposals. I'm gonna go Ollie Wines. I think
we're another safe bet.
If Porter to win, I think Wines will be best on ground again.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like Bont will have quite a poor game for his standards.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be 100%.
He didn't look great when he came off of that injury. There's no way they put him into the side at 100% capacity. There is no way he is past 80. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 18 boy. So whether they chuck him into a smaller role is probably the big debate. Do you reckon they'll chuck him into a bit of a small role down forward? I think they'll keep him
like a half forward or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe just half game mid, half game forward.
Yeah.
Depending on the margin and whatever. Obviously, if they're down, they don't really have anything to risk, so they just chuck him in the mid and let him go. But if it's a fairly even game and they can afford to move him, I think they can put him forward for at least a quarter.
Yeah.
I just don't see him having an all-around ripping game.
Yeah, I don't see him being at his absolute best.
That's our tips. We're going. Both of us have got Melbourne and Port facing off in Saturday week, or 2 weeks technically.
Yeah.
Now we'll move on to just some general topics. We touched on Nathan Jones, so Lachie Neale. Last night or yesterday, was it? Or was it today?
During the
today.
hour. No,
today.
Was it? Yeah, it was.
This morning came out and said that he will be staying at the Brisbane Football Club even after all of that drama on Sunday evening. We spoke about it on Tuesday, and in fact, we almost stuffed over our whole Fremantle season review yesterday.
Yeah.
But he's staying. He's committed.
Yeah.
His wife is happy to stay in Brisbane, supposedly. It's a good result.
Yeah, he came out and said there's unfinished business, and he said he wants to check. He wants to hold a cup in Brisbane colours.
And Brisbane, honestly, at this stage, probably my premiership favourites next year.
I've got them to agree. They've also secured in Neale, and also getting Rayner and Hipwood back.
Yeah.
So 2, big forwards who can do bits on their day.
They've had a year off to assess not a full year for Hipwood, but you get my point.
You see Rayner though.
They've had a year off to assess, to look at what they can improve on. And obviously Hipwood's close to round 1 return, so he won't be fully fit for a few weeks into the season. But Rayner will be, because Rayner was pre-season.
Pre-season
the Suns.
game.
So yeah, he's had a year off. I
Yeah.
think he can come back and be one of the best small forwards in the league, let alone young small
I
forwards.
agree. Yeah,
So that Lions team can be scary with
they can.
Neale committing. Yeah. Anything else to touch on?
But I think that's generally all the news we've had this week. We haven't had too many. Apart from Carlton asking Collingwood on how to hire a senior coach. So
Supposedly.
yeah, that's been thrown about. But
Uh,
yeah, I think that's everything we've had so far.
yeah.
Going into this week.
Very good. All right. So let us know what your tips are for the prelim finals down below. It's going to be a great weekend for football.
For sure. I'm excited.
Very much so. The suspension starts now with about
It
24 hours until the first bounce, or 23 or so when this is uploaded.
Yep.
So, yeah, make sure you catch us on Tuesday as we sort of, I guess, review the prelim weekend. Hope you enjoy your weekend footy, and see you Tuesday.
Yep. So, yeah.